post-traumatic street disorder, also known as PTSD, and it can stem from gang violence. Post-traumatic street disorder is a debilitating condition that manifests itself in nightmares, flashbacks, feelings of isolation, and anxiety. Although PTSD has often been associated with war veterans, recent research has identified gang-impacted communities as another population susceptible to PTSD or post-traumatic street disorder. Residents of violent and poverty-stricken communities are exposed to constant violence and other acts of delinquency that impact their mental well-being and increases their chances of suffering from PTSD symptoms. With witnessing the death of a loved one through gang violence to hearing gunshots on a daily basis, these residents experience traumatic moments in their own neighborhoods that leave them feeling unsafe and mentally scarred. Similar to the experience of war veterans struggling with PTSD, many residents in gang-impacted communities may experience symptoms like hypervigilance, nervousness, nightmares, and overall anxiety. Even the sound of a balloon popping up at a party may cause the residents to immediately duck, as this is their natural reaction to gunshots in their neighborhood. Some may even become numb to the constant violence riddling their communities. Although the victims of community violence commonly experience these PTSD symptoms, research has revealed that gang members also suffer from PTSD, especially juvenile gang members. According to the National Gang Survey, 2 out of 5 gang members are under the age of 18, indicating a sizable adolescent population within the gang community. Gang-impacted youth are a vulnerable population subjected to negative psychological outcomes, including post-traumatic stress disorder. In recent years, several studies have revealed that juvenile gang members are at a higher risk of developing PTSD due to the constant exposure to violence. Violence is at the core of the gang lifestyle, and it places young people in a unique position as both perpetrators and victims. Not only are these adolescents expected to commit violence against others, but they also fall victims to the violence from rival gang members. These young people constantly witness violence and trauma, and this makes them more susceptible from suffering from PTSD. PTSD is an invasive mental health illness that debilitates a person from leading a productive, healthy life. These young people in gangs must tread cautiously through their neighborhoods, fearing for their lives and their safety. As these adolescents continue their involvement in the gang, they are constantly exposed to life-changing traumatic events, ranging from assault to murder. According to the National Child Traumatic Stress Network, PTSD manifests itself in nervousness, difficulty concentrating, re-experiencing traumatic events, and other symptoms that dramatically alter the lives of these adolescents. As long as youth remain active in their prospective gangs, they will continue to witness trauma in their day-to-day lives, subjecting them to negative mental health outcomes like PTSD. Violence in gang-impacted communities is a complex, multi-layered issue that drastically impacts residents, from young to old, in dynamic ways. The mental well-being of these individuals is shaken, and therefore it is deemed as a serious public health issue. As a former active member, I don't condone gang violence because I understand the negative effect that it has on the black community. But also, as a former active member, I don't condemn the youngsters out there that's active right now, because I understand that this problem is a bigger problem than what meets the eye. Most of the older heads, they look out and they see the youngsters wilding out, and they got something to say about the youngsters wilding out. They say the youngsters don't respect the OGs. But let me put y'all OGs up on something. You never gave the youngsters a reason to respect you. You didn't lead by example. When you were their age, you were getting in trouble. You were going to prison. You didn't lead by example. You wasn't a good role model. So how do you expect them to respect you now? See, if you want there to be a change, because the problem is a big problem, so we're definitely going to need a gigantic solution. And I'm not saying that I have the solution. All I know is this right here. When you look out and you see the gang violence all across the United States, not in just big cities now, also in suburban communities, we have to understand that even though the gang culture was born in California and in Chicago, just like the hip hop culture was born over there in the Bronx, corporate America took the gang culture and they made it a monster. Just like they took the hip hop culture and made it a monster. Look around in your community and pay attention to these young bulls that have immersed themselves into the lives of gang activity. They are suffering, a lot of them, from PTSD. A lot of the OGs are suffering from PTSD, just like war veterans. Just like war veterans. So they gotta self-medicate. They gotta pop pills. They gotta smoke marijuana. They gotta sip lean. They gotta self-medicate because the anxiety is there. The nervousness is there. This is part 1, man. Y'all stay tuned to part 2.
I was driving out there in Chicago. I got a lot of family, like O Block, and y'all block like 3 blocks away.
It's always been like that.
Like that's shit weird to me, because it's like, no wonder the killing so high. Y'all right there, I'm pretty sure y'all use the same gas stations, the same everything.
Shit, oh well. You know, we ain't no whole ass niggas.
Right.
We with this shit for real. I ain't gonna try to make it seem like they ain't with the shit, because if they catch you, they'll smoke your ass too.
Exactly.
Before them. But at the same time, like, that's how you know, the inside is no whole side. You catch my drift? Like, of course I'm gonna say they some whole ass niggas.
Exactly, they trying to kill you.
they right. But they ain't no whole ass niggas, because they'll kill you. You catch my drift?
Mm-hmm.
But they some whole ass niggas for trying to kill me. You know how that shit be. You know, we ain't ducking shit anyway.